Level 1. You are 29 years old. You are sitting in the parking lot of a country club you have just been invited to join. It's a Saturday morning in April. The country club is in the suburb where you grew up. The club has, you have been told by the friend who sponsored your application, been around since 1962. The club has about 400 members. The initiation fee is $2,500. The annual dues are $3,200. The combined cost, in your first year, will be slightly less than $6,000. You can afford it. You also cannot, quite, afford it. The math is uncomfortable in the way that the math always is when you stretch for something that is just above your current means. You walk into the clubhouse. The clubhouse is modest. The clubhouse has a small dining room, a bar, a pro shop, men's and women's locker rooms, and a small lounge with leather chairs that have been there since the 1980s. The building was renovated, you have been told, in 2003. The renovation was modest. The clubhouse smells faintly of chlorine from the pool and grass clippings from the golf course. You meet with the membership chair. He is a man in his 60s who has been a member for 34 years. He explains the membership process. There is an application. There is an interview. There is a vote by the membership committee. The vote, he assures you, is largely a formality if you have a sponsor. You have a sponsor. The sponsor is your friend's father, who has been a member for 20 years. You will, 3 weeks later, receive a letter informing you that you have been approved. You will go to the clubhouse and pay the initiation fee. You will receive a small plastic membership card with the club's logo on it. You will, for the first time in your life, be a member of a private club. This is the first thing nobody tells you about country clubs. The first thing is that the local country club is, in the larger system of American social membership, almost the lowest rung. The local country club exists in every American suburb. The local country club admits, with few exceptions, anyone who has a sponsor and can pay the fees. The local country club is a real institution. The local country club is also, in the eyes of the higher tier clubs, barely a club at all. You will not, for years, understand that there is a higher tier. The local club, to you, feels significant. You are the club polo when you play golf. You bring guests to the dining room. You feel, slightly, like you have arrived somewhere. The arrival is real. The arrival is also smaller than you think. The verb at level 1 is join. You have joined a club. The joining is the first rung of a much longer ladder. Level 2. You are 36. You have moved up. The new club is the regional country club, the one that serves the wealthier suburbs of your metropolitan area. The initiation fee is $25,000. The annual dues are $9,000. The combined cost in your first year is $34,000. You can afford this comfortably now. Your business has grown. Your income has tripled in the last 6 years. The $34,000 is a meaningful expense, but not a stretch. The clubhouse is different. The clubhouse is a sprawling colonial-style building that was built in 1928 and renovated 3 times since. The clubhouse has a formal dining room, a casual grill room, a private bar, a wine cellar that hosts dinners, men's and women's locker rooms with separate sitting areas, a barbershop, a card room where members play bridge on Thursday afternoons, and a small library. The golf course is championship caliber. The course has hosted state amateur tournaments. The members are different. The members are, on average, 20 years older than you. They are partners at law firms. They are senior executives at regional companies. They are doctors who own their practices. They are second-generation business owners who took over from their fathers. They are, in aggregate, the establishment of your region. You feel, when you walk into the clubhouse for the first time as a member, slightly underdressed, even though you are wearing the appropriate clothes. The feeling is not about your clothes. The feeling is about the room. The room has been arranged, over decades, by people who have been there much longer than you. The room knows things you do not yet know. You will, over the next several years, learn the things the room knows. This is the second thing nobody tells you about country clubs. The second thing is that each tier of club has its own culture, and the culture has to be learned. The local club had no culture beyond friendliness and casual access. The regional club has rules. The rules are mostly unwritten. The rules include things like which jacket to wear in which dining room, which conversations are appropriate at which times, which members are appropriate to greet warmly, and which to greet formally. You will, in the first 18 months of your membership, make several small mistakes. The mistakes will be observed. The mistakes will not be commented on. The mistakes will, however, be remembered. The remembering is the texture of the club. The remembering shapes whether, in 5 years, you have moved fully into the membership or remained on its periphery. The verb at level 2 is integrate. You integrate into a culture that has existed long before you arrived. The integration is the work of this level. Level 3. You are 44. You have been invited to join the City Club. The City Club is the most prestigious private club in your metropolitan area. The club was founded in 1882. The initiation fee is $100,000. The annual dues are $18,000. The combined cost in your first year is $118,000. You can afford this. You also recognize, as you write the check, that you are now paying more for 1 year of club membership than most Americans earn in a year of work. The clubhouse is a 6-story building in the downtown business district. The building was built in 1908. The building has been the clubhouse for the entire history of the club. The building has, in addition to the standard club facilities, 16 guest rooms for visiting members from clubs in other cities, 3 private dining rooms that can be reserved for events, a formal ballroom that seats 200, a barber shop staffed by a barber who has been there for 40 years, and a wine cellar that contains, according to the wine steward who showed it to you, approximately 12,000 bottles. The membership is, you realize during your first visit, the actual leadership of your city. The members include the CEO of the largest bank in your state. The members include the senior partners of the 3 largest law firms. The members include the publishers of the city's newspapers. The members include senior executives of every significant company in the region. The members include, you have noticed, almost no one under the age of 50. You are, at 44, one of the younger members. The being younger is, you have learned, a specific position. The younger members are observed by the older members. The observation is friendly. The observation is also evaluative. The older members are, slowly, deciding whether you will become a future leader of the club or remain a peripheral member. This is the third thing nobody tells you about country clubs at this level. The third thing is that, at the City Club tier, the club becomes a vehicle for business and social capital that significantly exceeds the value of the membership fee. The deals that happen at lunch in the formal dining room are deals that would not happen elsewhere. The relationships that form across decades are relationships that produce opportunities for your children and your children's children. The membership is, in any meaningful accounting, the best investment you have made in the last decade. The $100,000 initiation fee returns itself many times over through what the membership produces. The verb at level 3 is access. You access a level of business and social capital that exists only inside this specific institution. The access is the actual product. Level 4. You are 51. You have been invited to join the National Club. The National Club is one of the small group of clubs in the United States that draws its members from across the country rather than from a single city. There are perhaps a dozen such clubs. The clubs are concentrated in a few specific locations. Some are in remote areas of New England. Some are in the Mountain West. Some are on coastal islands. The clubs are, by design, difficult to reach. The difficulty of reaching them is part of the texture of the membership. The initiation fee at the National Club is $250,000. The annual dues are $30,000. The combined cost in your first year is $280,000. The cost is, by the math of your current net worth, manageable. The cost is also significant in a way that signals to you, when you write the check, that you have crossed into a different category of membership. The membership at the National Club is approximately 400 people. The 400 people include, you have learned through casual conversation, several billionaires. The 400 people include former cabinet members. The 400 people include CEOs of companies that everyone has heard of. The 400 people include, you have realized, the actual American establishment in a way that the City Club only approximated. The clubhouse, when you visit for the first time, is not what you expected. The clubhouse is a modest wooden lodge that has been there since 1903. The lodge has not been substantially renovated. The lodge does not impress in the way that wealth typically impresses. The lodge instead conveys a specific message, which is that the people who built this place did not need it to impress anyone. The message is the entire point of the architecture. This is the fourth thing nobody tells you about country clubs at this level. The fourth thing is that, at the National Club tier, The deliberate understatement is the signal. The most exclusive clubs in America are, almost without exception, physically modest. They do not have ornate clubhouses or gold-plated fixtures. They have simple wooden lodges, worn leather chairs, and dining rooms that look like they were last updated in 1960. The understatement is not aesthetic preference. The understatement is the specific marker of a club where the members are wealthy enough that they do not need the club to communicate their wealth on their behalf. You understand this now. You did not understand this at the local club. The journey from level 1 to level 4 has been, in significant part, the journey of learning to read this specific code. The verb at level 4 is decode. You have decoded what the establishment communicates. The decoding is what allows you to function at this level. Level 5. You are 57. You have been invited to join one of the historic clubs. The historic club is one of the small set of American clubs that were founded in the 18th or 19th century and have maintained continuous operation across that entire period. The clubs are, in the small world of private clubs, the next tier above the national clubs. The clubs include, in their membership lists, names that appear in American history books. Past members have included presidents, secretaries of state, founders of major corporations, and the kind of 19th century industrialists whose names are now on buildings at universities. The initiation fee at the historic club is, technically, for $100,000. The initiation fee is, in practice, not the primary barrier. The primary barrier is the invitation. The invitation requires nomination by a current member, seconded by another current member, and approved unanimously by the membership committee. The approval process can take, you have been told, between 2 and 10 years. The waiting is itself part of the membership. You waited 4 years between nomination and approval. You did not, during those 4 years, ever directly inquire about the status of your application. The inquiring would have been considered improper. You waited. The waiting was the appropriate response. When the letter arrived, it arrived on Tuesday morning in March. The letter was a single sheet of cream-colored paper. The letter informed you, in 2 paragraphs, that you had been approved. The letter was signed by hand by the club president. The letter was, you understood when you held it, the most exclusive piece of mail you had ever received. This is the 5th thing nobody tells you about country clubs at this level. The 5th thing is that, at the historic club tier, the membership is no longer about access to facilities or opportunities. The membership is about continuity with American history. The club itself is a thread that connects current members to the founders of the country in a way that no other institution in America provides. The continuity is the actual asset. The continuity cannot be purchased at any price. The continuity can only be granted by the existing members through a process that has remained unchanged for over 200 years. You are, by joining the historic club, joining a chain. The chain extends backward through American history. The chain will extend forward, you hope, through your children and their children. The verb at level 5 is belong. You belong now to a chain that operates across centuries. The belonging is the achievement. Level 6. You are 63. You have been invited to join the invitation-only club. The invitation-only club is one of the perhaps half-dozen clubs in America where membership is by direct invitation from the existing members, with no application process and no published initiation fee. The clubs are, in the small world of American private institutions, the tier above the historic clubs. The clubs are largely unknown to people who are not in them. The clubs are, you have come to understand, the specific places where the leadership of the American establishment actually convenes. The invitation to join came through a phone call. The call came from a man you have known for 15 years. The man is a senior figure in American industry. The man told you, in a brief conversation, that the membership committee of the club had discussed your name and had asked him to extend an invitation. The man told you the dues. The dues are, by the standards of clubs at this level, modest. The cost of the membership is approximately $75,000 a year. The cost is not the point. The point is the invitation itself. You accepted, of course. You did not, in any moment, consider not accepting. The not accepting would have been a refusal of something that cannot be reoffered. You understood this without being told. The clubhouse, when you visit for the first time, is again modest. The pattern of modesty has now become the expected signature of the highest tier American clubs. The clubhouse is a converted 19th century estate house. The clubhouse has perhaps 30 rooms. The membership is, you have been told, approximately 200 people. The 200 people include, by your slow accumulation of information, current and former heads of major American institutions. The members include people whose names you have known your entire life from newspapers and history. This is the sixth thing nobody tells you about country clubs at this level. The sixth thing is that, at the invitation-only club tier, the membership is itself a kind of position. The position is not a job. The position is a recognition that you have crossed into the small group of Americans who are considered, by the existing leadership, to be worthy of association at this level. The recognition cannot be sought. The recognition can only be granted. The recognition is, in some specific sense, the highest form of social validation that exists in American life. The verb at level 6 is recognize. You have been recognized. The being recognized is what the entire ladder was ultimately for. Level 7. You are 69. You have been invited to Augusta National Golf Club. The invitation came through the slow accumulation of relationships over the previous decade. The invitation was not, technically, to join the club. Augusta National has a membership that is, even by the standards of the previous tiers, smaller and more difficult to enter. The membership is approximately 300 people. The membership is by invitation only. The initiation fee, when offered, is reportedly between $40,000 and $250,000. The fee is irrelevant. What matters is the invitation. The invitation came in the most American form. A phone call from a member you had known professionally for many years. The member told you that the club had decided, after years of slow observation, to invite you to become a member. The member asked you to consider the invitation. You considered it for approximately 15 seconds before accepting. The acceptance was the only possible response. Augusta National is the apex of the American private club system. Augusta National is the club that every American golfer and every American interested in the institutional architecture of the country recognizes as the symbol of the highest tier of American club membership. The Masters Tournament, which is played at Augusta each April, is the club's only direct connection to public visibility. The rest of the club's operations are entirely private. You arrive at the club for the first time as a member. You wear, as instructed, a green jacket that has been provided to you upon induction. The green jacket is, in American culture, one of the most recognized symbols of exclusive membership that exists. You walk into the clubhouse. The clubhouse is, as expected, modest and traditional. The clubhouse has been there since 1854. The clubhouse has hosted some of the most consequential conversations in American business and politics. This is the seventh thing nobody tells you about country clubs. The seventh thing is that, at the Augusta-Tier, the club is no longer a club in any meaningful sense. The club is an institution. The institution operates at a level where the membership itself is a form of national prominence. The institution shapes, through the conversations and relationships of its members, the actual operation of significant parts of American business and political life. The institution will exist long after you are gone. The institution has existed long before you arrived. You are, in joining, becoming a small part of a chain that exceeds you in every dimension. The verb at level 7 is arrive. You have arrived at the top of the ladder. The arrival is the end of one journey and the beginning of another, which is the journey of how to be useful at this level. The payoff. So let's pull this together. At level 1, join. The local country club is the first rung. At level 2, integrate. The regional club requires learning unwritten rules. At level 3, access. The city club provides business and social capital that exceeds the cost. At level 4, decode. The national clubs communicate through deliberate understatement. At level 5, belong. The historic clubs provide continuity with American history. At level 6, recognize. The invitation-only clubs offer the highest form of social validation. At level 7, arrive. The Augusta-Tier is the apex of the American club system. Here is the thing nobody on YouTube will tell you about country clubs. The American country club system is, despite appearances, one of the most clearly tiered institutions in American life. The tiers are not advertised. The tiers are not discussed openly. The tiers are, however, completely real. The local country club and the Augusta National Golf Club are both technically country clubs. They share almost nothing else. The journey between them spans, for almost everyone who completes it, a lifetime of work and patience. The tiers are also, in a specific way, the American answer to European aristocracy. The United States never had hereditary titles. The United States never had royal families. The United States did, however, develop, across 2 centuries, a parallel system of private institutions that perform the same function. The function is sorting. The function is recognition. The function is the slow accumulation of social capital across generations within specific small groups. If you are watching this video and you are at the lower tiers of this ladder, the message is that the higher tiers exist and that they are real. The higher tiers are not visible to people at the lower tiers. The higher tiers do not advertise themselves. The higher tiers are, however, accessible to those who build the kind of life that eventually produces an invitation. If you are watching this video and you have never been part of any country club, the message is that the ladder exists whether or not you are on it. The country club system is one specific instance of a much broader pattern in American life, which is that significant institutions sort their members into tiers that the general public is largely unaware of. Somewhere right now, a 29-year-old is sitting in the parking lot of a country club he is about to join. The initiation fee is $2,500. He can almost afford it. He does not know, yet, that the club he is joining is the first rung of a ladder that, if he stays on it, will end somewhere he cannot currently imagine. The ladder has 7 levels. The first invitation is the easiest. The last is the rarest. If this video changed how you think about private clubs and American social structure, hit subscribe. We have more videos like this on the channel, each one breaking down a different system that sorts people into tiers most people do not know exist. See you in the next one.